Have you ever carried pain from your past that never seemed to leave you? For Miriam Daniels, childhood trauma shaped much of her early life, leaving her with fear, shame, and deep self-doubt. Today, I want to share her journey from emotional pain to healing, spiritual restoration, and purpose. Miriam's story is a reminder that even the deepest wounds can be transformed. If you have experienced neglect, abuse, or childhood hardship, or if you know someone who has, her story will offer hope and practical insights for emotional healing. Miriam grew up in a home marked by neglect and emotional abuse. Her parents struggled with addiction, leaving her feeling invisible, unloved, and unsafe. She remembers, "I learned early that the world could hurt you and that no one could be trusted. I carried fear, shame, and anger with me into adulthood." Trauma in childhood leaves deep emotional imprints. For Miriam, these wounds manifested as anxiety, difficulties forming relationships, and self-doubt. She struggled with trusting God and often questioned whether He truly cared for her. For years, she hid her pain, fearing judgment and rejection. If you have ever carried trauma from your past, Miriam's story may resonate with you. It is important to recognize that childhood wounds are real and affect us in adulthood. Acknowledging them is the first step toward healing. As Miriam grew older, the weight of her childhood experiences shaped her adult life. Anxiety crept into her daily routine. Trust became a constant struggle, and self-doubt limited her relationships and personal growth. She often wondered, if God truly loves me, why do I feel so broken? Many people who have experienced trauma wrestle with these questions. Faith, while powerful, can feel distant when emotional wounds remain unhealed. It is okay to question. Healing does not mean ignoring the pain. It means confronting it with courage and support. Miriam's turning point came when she decided to take that courageous step. Miriam's life began to shift in her 20s. A church counselor encouraged her to bring her trauma honestly before God and process it in a safe, supportive environment. She began therapy, joined a women's support group, and studied scripture passages about God's healing, love, and restoration. Through prayer, journaling, and mentorship, Miriam slowly confronted her past. She learned to name her pain, identify its impact on her thoughts and behaviors, and take steps to process it. Supportive communities and therapy are essential. Healing from trauma is rarely a solo journey. Faith and practical guidance can work together to restore emotional stability. Over time, Miriam discovered the power of forgiveness, not to excuse the abuse she endured, but to free herself from its emotional grip. She writes, "For years I thought my past defined me, but God showed me it could shape me into someone stronger and more compassionate." Miriam's journey reminds us that emotional healing is about reclaiming your narrative. It is about understanding that your past informs you, but it does not have to define you. Emotional healing requires both reflection and action. Prayer, journaling, and mentorship are tools that can guide you toward clarity, self-compassion, and resilience. Alongside emotional healing, Miriam found spiritual restoration. She discovered that God's love could fill the void left by childhood pain, bringing emotional stability and a renewed sense of purpose. She began to see herself as valued, loved, and capable of growth. Spiritual restoration is not about erasing past wounds. It is about finding hope and strength in God while integrating the lessons from your experiences. Faith can provide a foundation for emotional resilience. Scripture passages on God's healing, love, and restoration can anchor you when feelings of fear or inadequacy surface. Today, Miriam works with abused and neglected children, leads support groups, and speaks at churches about emotional healing and faith. What once were sources of pain have become platforms for compassion, guidance, and hope for others. Her story is a living example that even the deepest wounds can be transformed into a life of purpose and service. When we face our past with courage and faith, we can turn personal pain into a source of empathy and strength. Miriam's journey shows that emotional healing can ripple outward, impacting countless lives. Let's reflect on practical lessons we can learn from Miriam's journey. Acknowledge your pain. Confronting your past is essential for emotional growth. Seek safe support. Therapy, support groups, and mentorship provide guidance and understanding. Engage in spiritual practices. Prayer, scripture study, and reflection build resilience and peace. Practice forgiveness. Forgiveness frees you emotionally, even if it does not excuse past wrongs. Turn pain into purpose. Helping others can transform your wounds into a source of hope. Even if healing feels slow or incomplete, consistent, intentional steps can lead to profound emotional and spiritual restoration. Miriam's story reminds us that our past does not have to dictate our future. Even childhood trauma can be transformed into resilience, purpose, and spiritual depth. Healing is a journey, and every step forward, no matter how small, is significant. Take a moment to reflect. What small step can you take today toward healing? Could it be journaling your feelings, joining a support group, or reading a passage of scripture? Emotional healing and spiritual restoration are possible, even after deep childhood trauma. Miriam's journey shows that with courage, faith, and supportive community, we can reclaim our lives, find peace, and use our experiences to help others. If Miriam's story resonated with you, share it with someone who might need encouragement today, and subscribe for more stories of hope, healing, and resilience. Remember, your past does not define you, but it can shape you into someone stronger, more compassionate, and full of purpose.